Hey guys, this is Candle and welcome to a new gaming pickups video. Kind of small stack of stuff here. I didn't really want to go out and buy a whole bunch throughout January. Of course, it's not going to compare to my last video because that was an entire year's worth of stuff. But anyways, let's get this show on the road. First up, I have if I can make sure I've got it showing correctly, I've got the Final Fantasy IV Complete Collection for PSP. This is Final Fantasy IV and the After Years. It's 2D versions, not the 3D one that's on PC and DS. But I think it looks really good. I haven't really messed around with it too much. I actually got this for a specific reason. Next year marks the 30th anniversary of the Final Fantasy franchise, so I'm going to be doing Let's Plays of most of the main series throughout next year. So for Final Fantasy IV, I'm going to be doing this version, ideally, if I can actually record my PSP. I've got a cable on order. We'll see how that works. Next up, we also have Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. I picked this up used. I did not buy it new because fuck Konami. But I haven't actually gotten too far into this. Only about an hour or two, which of course means only like 10 minutes of gameplay because it's Kojima. But it's very interesting so far. I actually just got to Afghanistan, which is where you get your horse. It's where you get introduced to the whole open world concept that's brand new to the franchise. But the first hour or so was really, really stellar. It was mostly just kind of an escape from a hospital. But there was some weird stuff going on, including a fire whale. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how this all plays out here. I got the PS4 version instead of the Xbox One or the PC because Metal Gear Solid has traditionally been a PlayStation franchise. It has been right up until Metal Gear Solid 5. So, anyways, speaking of other PS4 games, this is another one that's actually an exclusive. I got the Order 1886, which is fairly short, but it's a really good looking game. It's probably one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. Unfortunately, that's really all it has going for it. They actually restricted the aspect ratio to anamorphic widescreen, which is basically letterbox for widescreen. And the reason they did that was to make it more cinematic, or so they said. They also limited the frames, the FPS, to 30 frames per second, also to be more cinematic. But really, we all know they just did it because they wanted to make the game look as good as it could. And by limiting the aspect ratio, it meant they had to render out fewer pixels, and by limiting the frame rate, that means they could push out higher fidelity graphics. Honestly, though, the story is kind of mediocre. The gameplay is mediocre. All it really has going for it is how gorgeous it looks, and the fact that the mythos surrounding it is actually kind of interesting. The basic premise and idea of the Order 1886 is you are one of the Knights of the Round Table in 1886, and you get to mess around with some steampunk-inspired weapons while you're hunting werewolves, basically. So it sounds interesting, it really does, but honestly, it's just a very mediocre story and mediocre gameplay. Also, to switch it up to a different system, I finally got Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now, as I've probably said multiple times before, I usually am a couple games behind in the Call of Duty franchise because I don't play it for the multiplayer. I don't. I honestly don't. I am one of those rare beasts that plays pretty much only the single player when it comes to Call of Duty games. And this one, it was all right. I mean, it was Call of Duty. But what's really noteworthy about this is it was the first entry in the franchise from Sledgehammer Games. Traditionally, Call of Duty, to be on a yearly release schedule and yet still have like 2-year development times. Traditionally, it kept getting handed off between two different developers. Treyarch, who are the people who've done the Black Ops games, and Infinity Ward, who are the people who've done the Modern Warfare games. And it kind of flips back and forth between them. But this last year, Activision introduced a third developer, Sledgehammer Games, and I really like what they did with the formula to change it up a bit. And this is honestly one of the better looking games in the franchise. The best looking cinematics I've ever seen. The people in the cinematics for this game almost cross into Uncanny Valley territory. That's how good they look. You've also got Kevin Spacey playing the villain. So it's just really, really interesting to see how it all plays out and everything. And then the last one is the big release from January that I picked up. XCOM 2. I actually got the physical release for this. I didn't do that for XCOM 1. But I have been really excited to play this game. Unfortunately, I haven't put more than about 6 hours into it because I've been working on other stuff, playing other games like the rest of the stack that I just showed. And also, I kind of ran into a bit of a problem. I've heard some people say that the normal difficulty is a bit too easy. I actually think it might be a little bit too hard, or maybe it's just the specific scenarios I'm running up against. I'm not supposed to actually win. Uh, I've come into a situation in the game where I've got like an autosave at a specific point, and at the exact same time frame after that specific point, I get a mission. Now it's basically a random mission every time. Every time I reload the save, it's different, but the odds are always really stacked against me. I am almost to the point where it's so hard to the point where I cannot actually complete these missions successfully, and I keep having to reload and try a new one, try it again and again, and I'm coming to the point where I'm almost ready to just completely scrap the whole playthrough I'm working on now and start it over on easy mode. I really don't want to do that, but I might have to. I'm also the kind of person I know a lot of you are probably saying, but Candle, you can just keep playing after you fail a mission. Failing one mission isn't going to matter too much. But I'm the kind of person that likes to not fail at all when it comes to video game missions. Like, I'm the kind of person where when I play Fire Emblem, as soon as I lose a character, I pretty much have to completely shut the system off and not touch it for another month. So anyways, those are my gaming pickups for the month of February. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Please remember to comment, rate, and subscribe.